LaJuan worked with my husband first so that he could help me. And we both easily got over 300K in funding. Actually, probably more, I guess, once you start
Yeah.
adding everything up. But
Hmm.
he actually reached out. He had a customized solution. He had a realtor to help us know all our data points, know what to do. I know today we would have never gotten out of that situation had we not met you.
All right. I am very excited to be doing this client interview. I've been waiting on this one for actually a good little minute. This woman here, she is very, very impressive. Her business is doing good. She's got a lot of good things going on. I enjoyed having her in our funding program, and honestly, she just killed it. So I'll go ahead and shut up right now. I want to go ahead and introduce Lyanna to you guys. So Lyanna, go ahead and introduce yourself. Let people know who you are and what you do.
Sure. So my name is Lyanna Moldare. I am the CEO and owner of All Diva Things here based in Durham, North Carolina. We are a full service fashion boutique online. And I am very excited. LaJuan, I think it's been a year. This May is a year since we first met.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it was a very impactful year. I know you had like a lot of different things going on. So kind of tell people where you were when you decided to work with us and kind of how you end up finding me and the Omni Growth strategy.
Sure. So I found you on YouTube.
Hmm.
And where I was operating my business. I actually started in 2020. And so for 2 years, I mean, in terms of sales, we were killing it. We did our first million, 2022. Everything was going great. But I was running my entire business off of two platinum Amex cards. I never knew anything about business funding. I was just living the life in this insurance lounge, getting points, making money with my business. I just never had anyone to explain to me the importance of business credit. I can actually remember even going to my branch bank and them offering me things. And I'm like, oh, I don't need it. I'm thinking I don't want to get in any more debt, which actually I was actually doing the reverse. So killing everything, never paid anything late. All that's great. I was still in the low sevens in terms of credit. However, I'd allowed my utilization to just completely get out of control. So at the time when I saw Lamont, I saw a video and he was talking about, hey, go to Wells Fargo, get the Signify business card, giving all the data points. I said, okay, well, I have Wells Fargo anyway. Went to Wells Fargo. I mean, they had my loan. I mean, not my loan. They had my account. They saw all the transactions. They saw everything. So I'm like, oh, this is a no-brainer. I'm just going to walk in here, get a new credit card or get money and just go back home. And it was immediately denied. So I felt broken, and I reached out to LaJuan. I set up a consultation, and we went through everything. We went through the strategy. He made me feel very comfortable, telling the story like I'm telling to the world here. Um, made me feel like it wasn't a situation we couldn't fix. However, we needed to put in some work. So we initially started with the personal loan aspect side of it. I was getting declined on that, just full transparency. And then as I was telling Lawan, I said, my husband, he's like, oh, you're married? He said, I said, yeah. He said, well, we work with couples all the time. And I have to say, if I have not met Lawan, my husband, he's not here today. He had to work, but I'll definitely share that experience. But my husband was there. I was there. He's like, oh, we can work together. So essentially, without taking a very long time, Lawan worked with my husband first so that he could help me. And we both easily got over 300K in funding. Actually, probably more, I guess, once you start
Yeah.
adding everything up. But
Hmm.
he actually reached out. He had a customized solution. He had a realtor to help us know all our data points, know what to do. I know today we would have never gotten out of that situation had we not met you. So we were able to get him funding. It took him about 6 months, and actually, it took me about a good year to really, work on getting some things situated. And, some of the things I even had to look at myself. There was no business why I should have been running a business off of two credit cards. I was so single
Right.
threaded and dependent on them that when they put those restrictions on, I still could use it, but it was like, well, today you can charge up to 30,000 this month, but next month I might just let you charge 20. And you can't operate a business like that. So it taught me
Right.
also, in addition to the business credit, to have some different pipeline financial opportunities in my business so that I would never ever be dependent on someone telling me no.
Wow. No, that is amazing. And there's one key point I want to kind of swing back into, kind of like when you first start talking. And you mentioned, you were watching me on YouTube and you took, some of the things that I said in a particular video and you went ahead and tried to apply it. And the reason I bring that up is because so many people, Leanna, do what you just did in terms of they'll watch, some of these videos that I make on a channel, and I know I've told you this, and I'm telling everybody now, when you make a YouTube video, the problem with it is, everybody wants to be enrolled in a YouTube university and all that. But the problem is, I'm speaking to thousands of people. I'm not speaking to the direct person in their unique situation. So, you went in thinking like, oh, well, this can work for me, when in actuality, you needed something different. You see what I'm saying? So I just wanted to harp on that, and also kind of get your take on that as well, in terms of just like you watching a video, you taking action on it, and then immediately realizing, oh wait, I think there's a bigger problem here. You know what I'm saying?
I had no business being at that bank. Looking back, and that same bank just gave me 35K a couple weeks ago because I
Yeah,
mean, it's growth, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
First of all, in terms of data points, like you were talking about, I mean, you really have to be intentional about getting that utilization down. You just can't go out and get a bunch of personal loans um, because those have to be paid back immediately. And you have to look at, making sure you can pay things back. And it's just going to take time. And that under 10% utilization is not for the weak when you're
Hmm.
trying to grow your business and things like that. But I do appreciate
Yeah,
that when times when I would come to you, you say, hey, are you under 10% utilization? Oh, I'm at
yeah.
12. I'm at, okay, well, keep working because
Hmm.
it's going to be more successful because I'll tell anyone, you cannot do this on your own. This is not for, I won't say you can't, but if there's an easy button, please push it. You get there faster and your mental state will appreciate you for it. Like I
Yeah.
said, LaJuan, he really went above and beyond. And one thing I will honestly say, anyone should go into Omni Growth because as you start looking at everybody on YouTube and things of that nature, you don't have many people that you can access. You don't have many people directly. I'll put it that way. You might be talking to a person in another country. You might have, automated emails sent out. I don't abuse it, but the fact that I can ask questions and the fact that I can text you and you always reply, even with the time zone difference, just go nowhere else.
Yeah. 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 No, that's important, like you said. Having that ability to get like a custom funding strategy. I talk about that all the time, but I don't think people realize how important that is when you're trying to fund your business. As everybody knows, it's super easy to mess up your credit. It's extremely hard to fix it. So you want to protect that at all costs, and you don't want to be out here just randomly applying to banks, throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, right? A lot of people do that, and it kind of blows up in their face in a lot of situations, trying to do that. So yeah, no, what you said is key. And another thing I wanted to dive on, Lyanna, too, is because a lot of times, we have a lot of people that we work with. They come in, they may get 100,000, 200,000 in 3 weeks, right? But for you, obviously, it was a longer process in terms of the things that you needed to do and fix. Kind of just how you were when you came to us. So talk about just you being diligent and following the plan, because sometimes people may come in and they think, oh well, 20 people, it worked immediately, and me it's a little bit different. So talk to people that's watching about just you being diligent and following our process all the way through.
All right. So again, the first thing I had to do was change how I was paying for things like inventory and different things in my business. And then I had to say, you know what? I need to make some extra money. So I'll say this to anyone: you have to invest in your business to make money. You can't go the cheap route. There were things I was doing in my business, like marketing and things like that, I was doing myself. I invested in someone to do it for me with my funding, which allowed me to have that money to tackle down the debt, your personal debt, because no matter what people say, they're going to look at your personal debt always. And just because you have that good credit, um, 700 is, relatively good. However, if you have, utilization, or if you have, um, you're viewed as high risk, you're not filling out your paperwork correctly, um, you're not being diligent and going to, towards the plan. Maybe I had to sacrifice, the latest purse so I can pay down some utilization. I had to pay more attention to just trying to, you know, just stick to the plan. If you stick to the plan, it's going to work. And it took me longer, but I'm so glad that I'm here now because, even with the funding that I have now, I knew I could get more and I can start diversifying into different things, other than my boutique, other
Right.
business opportunities where if someone says, we have this opportunity for you, I can touch 10K, 20K without going to my 401k or retirement accounts or
Right.
on taking risk into, our savings. So
Right. Right.
definitely, stay on course. It's not gonna happen overnight.
Mhm.
Hire LaJuan. He's gonna direct you. He's gonna give you that GPS. It's like, why not go to someone who's done it before? Um, it, it's a no-brainer for me, and I'm so
Right.
thankful for everything you've done, not just for me, but for my husband as well, because he's making moves on money he's made. We're also
Right.
being smart about not just saying, okay, we have this money with no plans. It's like, hey,
Right.
we're not gonna spend this money until we really know what we want to do to execute
Right.
next.
Yep. Now there you go, and that's a key point of that, using the funding in the right way and having a plan for it. And I wanted to also talk to you about the process, right? Because a lot of times people, they're wondering, maybe on the outside looking in, well, how does it work? Like how can he take all these people from zero, or maybe they already have some funding, to these crazy numbers, right? Obviously, you said your number. We'll go over that in a couple minutes here, but a lot of times people just don't believe it, right? So tell people that's watching, in your experience, like how the process went, in terms of just like, you don't have to say like the banks you got it from, obviously, but just like the process and the strategy, and who you were able to connect with, and all that type of things.
Sure. So I won't name the bank, but I'll just say before I met Lawan, again, I'm like, I'm doing these numbers, I'm gonna put everything
Mm-hmm.
in here. That bank gave
Mm-hmm.
me $4,000
On your own, right?
on my own.
Yeah.
After I met Lawan, that same bank gave me 60K.
So I'm gonna need you to repeat that again for the people in the back that's listening, because sometimes people don't hear. You got to say it twice.
So if you can go on your own and pay, get 4K, you can go to any branch, you start meeting friends at your credit unions and things like that. Those are not really your friends. Those
Yeah.
are not the people you need to approach for funding. They're nice people. They know you. They know you by name. You may even be able to go get $100 out the branch without ID.
Mm-hmm.
Those are
Mm-hmm.
not the people that the average person has access to. Lawan has a very great clientele. Lawan's clientele are who you want access to. So again, 4,000 on your own or 60 to hire Lawan. I'm going that direction every time.
Yeah, and talk about that, because you were able to, because there's a lot of times people don't understand this. Like, we not only do we build a custom funding strategy for people, but we also connect you with my own vetted contacts, right? And some of these people are people that worked on my business when I got funded all those years ago. And then now, we just have a lot of those people, they come to us directly, right? So talk about just like how now you have at multiple banks high level people that now are connected to your business.
Yeah, and they check in, from time
Yeah.
to time. So it's more than
Yeah.
just, hey, if you do this, you know, are you looking at merchant strategies? If you keep this card for a year, then we're going to do this. It's really about building those own relationships that, to be honest with you, has also inspired me to work with LaJuan, going forward. Because I see what he has done for others, specifically me. And
Right.
um, and I also state, there are so many people like myself. You can run a business all day, but there are gaps in your business that you need to get the help on, and business credit is one of them. It's not something, if you want, again, if you have time to spend hours and hours and hours on YouTube, knock yourself out, or you can outsource that, and the results are just going to be so much better, so you can run your business and still be connected with the right people to get you the right things that you need for your business. Because today I may not need something else, but I mean, if I have a contact that comes back and says, hey, you've been killing it with this credit card, do you want a line of credit? I'm not going to say no.
Right, right, right. And I think the most important part is you understand now how this works, right? And this is kind of what I always tell people. It's not just that we just do everything for you and you don't know what's going on, right? And I think you can attest to this. Like you're in the process, we're connecting directly with people at these banks. You're seeing firsthand, okay, this is what my personal credit needs to look like. This is what my business credit needs to look like. This is what these banks are expecting of me. So now moving forward, how this game works. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's
I'm sorry.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'll just say this too. Um, a lot of times, people think people are scammers. I mean, I sell
Mhm.
clothes. People think I'm a scammer.
Right, right.
That's just originally what you do, especially when you're investing and you're paying money. But
Mhm.
I've known Lawan for a year. He does not have my social security number. He's never had it. Um, I don't have his financial. He doesn't have mine. He doesn't have where I live. He doesn't have my address. He
Mhm.
doesn't have my birth date. He doesn't have any of that.
Right,
He sets me up with his relationship, folks at the bank. They have that because that's what their job is to do. So,
right.
if you have any of that of, oh, he's a scammer, he's going to take my social security number, and you don't have to worry about that. That's not how this process works. Um, like I said, Lawan doesn't even have my birth date.
Right.
And I have over almost, 200K in funding.
Yeah, no, 100%. So let's kind of talk about that. So, obviously, like you said, you had like a more complex plan in terms of what we needed to put in place to get you to where you needed to be. But talk about just the outcome, I guess, of what you were able to accomplish in funding. Obviously, you're still going to be in position to get more, but just as of right now, talk about what you were able to accomplish funding wise.
Sure. So, without saying the banks, my highest was 60. I had a couple of 50s. I had almost a 40,
Hmm.
several 25K, 35K. I mean, I didn't even add that up. And my husband,
Hmm.
he did pretty much about the same on
Yeah.
his side. So, because
Yeah.
his money is my money, also, I mean,
Right.
we have the funding to do things that we didn't have a year ago. I mean, like I said,
Right.
there's no way I would be able to go on my own and walk out the bank
Yeah.
with.
And I think it's fair to say, just from what I remember, easily over $250,000 in business funding, correct?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is just absurd, right? I like I said, I tell people that all the time, like, it's not easy to get to these numbers. A lot of times people, they see, whoever on the internet and they think anybody can get there. Like, no, you have to have things in place. Like, yeah, you may can get 50 or 100, but to get past 150, 200, like you have to have things in place now to be able to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely not easy. And you need a strategy to do that. So wrapping up, so now you got to get out of here, Lyanna. I want to end on this. What would you tell people that are like you or where you were a year ago, that are maybe watching the channel, they're watching videos on YouTube, maybe they're trying to do it themselves, maybe they're self-funding. There's a lot of people that do that, or using their personal credit and personal credit cards to fund their business, or maybe just an Amex girl like how you were. What would you tell those people that know they need business funding? Maybe they're tired of trying to do it on their own, or whatever the scenario is. What would you tell them about your experience, and what their next step should be?
Sure. First step, obviously, is to be honest about your situation. There's nothing embarrassing out here. LaJuan's probably seen it all. And the more you're honest with him, the more he can help you. Because, like I said, he actually had us talk to a real estate agent, which was completely off script, and ended up,
Hmm.
on a call with us for about an hour trying to find a solution that was separate
Yeah.
from what you offer. You went and got brought back the expertise to help us. So definitely set up a call and be honest about your situation, because it's only going to hurt you if you're not telling the truth. Because even towards the end, by the time I got to under the 10%, I was like, look, we got to move. you know
Yeah.
tell me everything. We got to move, swiftly
Yeah.
and quickly. And this was swiftly and quickly. Would I do this again? 1,000,000% yes. I was glad I found you on YouTube. You literally changed how we view business credit, and you know, very honest, stand up person one. And I'm so glad that we met.
So listen, after watching this video, if you want to just go ahead, stop all the guessing, get our help, get a custom funding strategy built specifically for you and your business, go ahead and click the link in the pinned comment or in the description. You'll be able to go ahead, book a call with us, see how we can help you get your business funded using my Omni Growth strategy to get hopefully similar results to who you just seen in the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Smash that like button if you enjoyed today's content. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications so you will be notified every time I drop a new video. And if you want to learn how I got over 500K in business funding leveraging my 3-step Omni Growth strategy, go ahead and click the video on the screen right now. It's going to take you to a recent video I just did where I break down my entire 3-step strategy so you could just literally steal it from me. So go ahead and click that video on the screen, and I'll see you in that one.